How's it going, guys? Welcome into week 3 of the NFL season for Draftkings DFS Sleeper Studs and Stacks. It's going to be a big week. It's going to be a poppin' week. I'm so excited. Panthers are 3-0. Hopefully your team is also 2-0 at this point. Going to be going into 3-0 or have a winning record. I don't really know. But it's been a good week, man. If you're here and you're coming back to the channel, thank you so much for returning. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help the channel a lot. I really appreciate it. And we can continue to do some of these bigger giveaways. Don't forget, pay attention on the pay attention on the stacks and defenses screen, and we'll be telling you how you can win a $20 DraftKings Mega Millions ticket, or Millions ticket, not Mega Millions. What is this, the Powerball of a lottery? I don't know. We're going to be giving away a DraftKings ticket, so pay attention on the defenses screen. Before we get into week 3, got to talk just very quickly about last week. The good, we had Brandon Cooks, Rob Gronkowski, Tim Patrick, Najee Harris, who had a little bit of a bounce back week. I think he's going to continue to improve here in week 3. The bad, Herbert. There was a lot of better options at that price point. DK Metcalf was down, not out. I think he obviously has a bounce back week. Us, like many people, think that. And then Antonio Brown just absolutely did not perform for us week 2. Was not good, was not great. But we're going to be coming back this week, week 3. It's our sleepers, studs, and stacks. And don't forget, if you disagree at any point in time, drop it in the comments below. Let me know where I was wrong. Let me know where I was right. Let me know what you're thinking this week, because I really do want this to be an open group discussion, okay? So our sleepers. Kick things off with a guy that's kind of a polarizing figure right now, because some people love him, some people hate him. Cordero Patterson has vultured some of his spots out of the backfield, but I think this week's going to be a decent week for Mike Davis. He's had 2 difficult matchups against Tampa Bay and Philadelphia, where it's going against the traditional run-stopping package with good defensive lines. Now in what is a winnable game, could see some more goal line work. There's not going to be as much trickeration. There's not going to be wildcat formations. So I get that, but Cordero Patterson is a threat to him and his output. But I think Mike Davis is going to be here this week. Christian Kirk, $5,400 against Jacksonville. I know I'm not going to be the only one all in. He only has 9 targets on the season, but I think there's going to be a huge uptick in that this week. D-Hop, it seemed like he was a little bit banged up last week, so that kind of benefited Rondale Moore and Max Williams. Don't expect that this week. I think it's more traditional. Christian Kirk, $5,400 going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars in a very winnable game. Flip side of that, why not chase some points on the other side with 2 of these next 3 guys? Marvin Jones Jr., $4,900 against Arizona. Arizona's going to get their sacks. They're going to get their picks. They're going to be generating a lot of pressure, but the ball does have to go somewhere, okay? Marvin Jones Jr., 20 targets on the season, 1 touchdown in each game. I think he's in line for a good game. Trevor Lawrence, he's going to be having to put the ball out there. If there's one thing we've learned this year, do not rush Russell Wilson. And do rush and do blitz Trevor Lawrence, who's had a little bit of trouble so far against the NFL defenses. Marvin Jones Jr. at $4,900. There's no reason a proven wide receiver 1 in an offense should be priced at wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 in most lineups, and he's probably my favorite cheap value play. Again, for our sleepers, these are just guys under $5,500, so I think it's more value play is what we should be saying. He probably is my favorite value play of the week. Darius Slayton, $4,600 going up against Atlanta. It's the best matchup that he's had the opportunity to be in all year. It's his highest price of the season, but Atlanta hasn't been able to stop anyone. They've made everyone look like world beaters. That defense is not very good. We've talked about it. That defensive front is okay at times, but the linebackers really struggle over the middle, and I think that's where Darius Slayton's going to be living in this one. Something like 8 catches, 60 yards is not out of the realm of possibility for him. And at $4,600, it's worth the risk going up against a very bad Atlanta Falcons defense. Laviska Shenault Jr. Some people don't like the Marvin Jones Jr. pick, and they want to chase someone a little bit differently. Laviska Shenault Jr. at $4,400 could be your guy. He still has 17 targets through 2 weeks, but he only has generated 9 catches. It's drops and bad throws. You do get him at a discount this week, which is good. So, $500 off his normal pricing. Laviska Shenault Jr., $4,400 against that Arizona Cardinals defense. Again, a game in which they will be chasing points. They are going to have to throw to keep up with the points that Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals are going to be putting up. It's got to go somewhere. Laviska, probably my second favorite. Marvin Jones Jr., hands down my favorite play of this game. And then TJ Hawkinson at $5,200 against Baltimore, 32nd in the league in pass yards given up. A lot of that has to do with Travis Kelce, who's not going to give up a lot of points to Travis Kelce, DraftKings points. But, I fully expect Baltimore to get ahead early, forcing Detroit to even more of a passing situation. They're always going to throw it. No matter what the situation is, they're going to throw it. They're going to be getting the ball into DeAndre Swift's hands, Jamal Williams' hands, TJ Hawkinson's hands. Outside of that, it's kind of a crapshoot, right? You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Quintez Cephas and a couple other guys that are just kind of throwing tiles and see what sticks at the wall. TJ Hawkinson is probably your best, most consistent pass catcher against a Baltimore defense that is 32nd in the league against tight ends for passing yards giving up. And more to watch, just to throw this out here, okay? Joe Burrow against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big Ben has his little peck issues. Maybe Cincinnati's defense is able to step up. Maybe Pittsburgh isn't able to, craft a lot of long drives. Joe Burrow could have increased opportunities to score some touchdowns. Matt Ryan against the New York Giants, who have not looked good. And finally, Justin Fields, 5,300 against Cleveland. Just throwing it out there, Cleveland defensive backs have not been good for a while. They do have some question marks on their offensive side, thus giving the Bears more opportunities on offense. I don't think any of these three are great picks. I'm not going to be putting them in my lineups, but I wanted to make sure that we talk about some quarterback situations that are a little bit on the cheaper end. Running backs, Melvin Gordon against the New York Jets, not a very good defense. Some people are worried that Javonte Williams is going to be continuing to steal some light there. But apparently Teddy Bridgewater comes out of nowhere, and he is the world beater. He has the most air yards out of any quarterback in the league. Stunned, I know, especially as a former Carolina Panther. Well, not former. I'm still a Carolina Panther fan, but as a Carolina Panther fan, a little stunned that Teddy Bridgewater is able to air it out down there. Maybe that goes back to some of the play calling and some of the criticism that Joe Brady's received recently. That's besides the point. Melvin Gordon, $5,500. He's in a good spot. Kenyon Drake, $5,500, also going up against Miami, with Josh Jacobs going down for the Las Vegas Raiders. Some more wide receivers just to keep an eye on. Corey Davis against Denver in that game. Braxton Berrios also at $3,900. He has 9 targets on average per season. I believe it's 11 and 7 week 1 against the Carolina Panthers, and then 11 last week against the New England Patriots. I don't think he's eclipsed 60 yards in either game, I think. So you're not expecting much out of him, but if you're in a really, really tight spot and you don't want to dip all the way down to that $3,100 level where Amon St. Brown and Van Jefferson are, maybe you look in the way of Braxton Berrios, but Van Jefferson at $3,400. Going up against Tampa Bay, I think he's in a good spot as well. Tampa Bay, one of the best offenses in the league, a very good rush defense. They're going to have to get the ball out quick. Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee, obviously at the tight end position, also in a strong position. Tight ends, Kyle Pitts, he's the proven number 2 wide receiver or proven number 2 weapon in that offense. $4,900, you're going to hear a lot of people talking about him. Not sure if I'm ready to chase those points. Jared Cook, in a game against Kansas City, a game where you're going to have to put up points. I like Keenan Allen. I love Mike Williams in this one. Jared Cook, he's seen a couple of red zone opportunities. I think he has 3 red zone targets or in the end zone targets this season at $3,900 against Kansas City defense that is susceptible to the pass at times. Could be worth a view. And then we're just going to say Albert O, $3,000 against the New York Jets, the tight end from Denver Broncos. But Jared Cook might be my favorite cheap tight end play. Going on to the studs. Studs are the top tier players that you need to consider in your lineup for week 3. Again, some of these guys are a little bit polarizing. Some of these guys are underpriced. Some of these guys are overpriced. Some of these guys we just are confident that they're going to be putting up points, and I'd be willing to bet them at almost any price point. And that first guy is going to be Cooper Kupp, $6,800. He's not going to be anybody that he's not going to not be on anyone's radar. I think that's 2 weeks in a row. I've screwed that saying up. He's on everyone's radar, right? $6,800, not even top 5 in pricing. He's going to be the chalky play. 1 in 5 catches has resulted in a touchdown. He has 15 catches, maybe 16 catches if I'm not mistaken, for 3 touchdowns on the year. Tampa Bay, their weak point is the defensive backs. They have a very good front 4, very good rush defense, good linebackers, strong tacklers. They do struggle in a little bit of coverage at times against physical, quick wide receivers. Again, Tyler Higbee, I mentioned him earlier. Maybe that's worth a look. But Cooper Kupp, $6,800, I think is a great play this week. Russell Wilson, $7,600 against Minnesota. Everyone's loving Kyler. If you want to pay down for Russell Wilson, I don't see why that's a mistake. Through 2 weeks, Minnesota's given up almost 300 passing yards per game and 30 points per game. So it's time to take some chances. I'm going to be going with Russell Wilson here. I love him and Tyler Lockett this week, but I love him and DK Metcalf even more. 2 weeks in a row for Tyler Lockett? Nah, it's bouncing back to DK this week. And Calvin Ridley at $7,000 flat against the New York Giants. New York Giants 25th in the league in pass yards allowed per game. He's seen 18 targets, but only 110 yards with those 18 targets. I expect him to actually make some connections this week. Matt Ryan's already said, hey, we could be a playoff team. We could be a team that we're talking about come December for a playoff spot. So he has a lot of confidence in this team. I think they're going to start to get things rolling now that Kyle Pitts has a few games under his belt. Russell Gage is a little banged up, so not sure how that's going to play out. But Calvin Ridley at $7,000, he is the number one guy there. New York Giants, not very good against the pass. I think this is going to be a little bit more of a high-scoring game than people initially thought. A little bit of a strange pick here. It's not Keenan Allen from Bradley, the big Chargers supporter every single week on DraftKings. Mike Williams at $6,400 against Kansas City. Lombardi using Mike Williams in the same capacity that he was using Mike Thomas in New Orleans is stunning and brilliant all at the same time, right? Simple slants, just get the ball in his hands. If it's soft coverage, put the ball in his hands. One-on-one, put the ball in his hands. Throw it over there. Mike Williams is going to come down with it. He's only getting 10 yards per reception. Very short. Kind of like Michael Thomas, right? 22 targets through 2 weeks. Mike Williams is absolutely being used. If he's getting 9 catches, that's 9 points already. You tack on another 50 yards to those 9 receptions. 14 points. Hopefully he's good for 1 touchdown in this game against Kansas City. You're looking at 24 to 28 points for Mike Williams. Fingers crossed. Darren Waller, $7,400 against Miami. 26 targets through 2 weeks. He's leading the team in that category. Dealing with a little bit of injuries there. Josh Jacobs, he's going to be down. Miami, without Tua Tagovailoa, could see an increased use for Las Vegas being on the field offensively speaking. I think this is a good opportunity for Derek Carr to show that he's actually the real deal. Going into week 3, he was number 1 in the league in passing yards. Sam Darnold's already played on Thursday night, so he's taking that number 1 spot, but don't let it fool you. Derek Carr is the number 1 passer in the league right now in terms of yards per game. And then Derrick Henry at $8,600. I know that I say you should never chase points based on what you did last week, but I think the numbers are still going to fall somewhere between weeks 1 and weeks 2. And I'm still happy with that output. He's a workhorse when they're ahead. Last 3 games against the Colts, 4 rushing touchdowns. If you go the last 4 games, he actually has 5 rushing touchdowns. But last 3 games, 4 rushing touchdowns, 140 yards rush per game, and 2 receptions for what it's worth. You know, we know he's not going to catch a lot of balls out of the backfield, but 4 rushing touchdowns in 3 games. I absolutely love that. I fully expect Indianapolis to try and slow down Julio Jones and A.J. Brown from getting you the big play. That's just kind of what they do. Don't get beat by the big play. Derrick Henry's going to pound it inside. $8,600, my favorite running back play of the week. It is expensive, but I think it's worth it. More to watch. Kyler Murray, $8,300 going up against a bad Jacksonville team. I think a lot of people are going to be going there. Justin Herbert, $6,500 against Kansas City. If you want to pay down a little bit, I think that's a smart play. Najee Harris, $6,600 against Cincinnati. We saw his role increase in week 2. I think that's going to continue, especially with Big Ben. If he is dealing with a pectoral injury, he might not be able to throw the ball down the field. Deontay Johnson, not in. He's out. Najee Harris probably going to be involved a little bit more. Saquon Barkley, $6,500 against a really bad Atlanta defense. The front 4 for Atlanta's defense, not horrible. They just don't do anything for me past that point. I think Saquon Barkley at $6,500 is finally going to have his coming out game. I understand if you're a little bit reserved about him, but I could see him absolutely popping off for 24 to 28 points. And then finally, Joe Mixon against the aforementioned Pittsburgh Steelers, $6,300. You're probably thinking that his week 2 usage was down. Tough matchup. Pittsburgh, I think they're number 8 rush defense, number 10 rush defense in the league. Could be just a priority of matchups that's happened out there. But I really like Joe Mixon at $6,300 this week. Already mentioned these 2 guys, DK, Tyler Lockett, Minnesota. Kind of flip-flop on where you want to go. And then Keenan Allen, $6,600. If you do want to pay it for him, feel free. I think Mike Williams, just because of the usage, is there, and he's stealing some of those red zone targets. Again, just think, what Michael Thomas was able to do in New Orleans, they are now trying to effectively do with Mike Williams in LA. And then tight ends, Travis Kelce, $8,200. Best tight end play of the week is Travis Kelce, $8,200. I don't know if I'll ever be able to fit that in my lineup. Very rarely do you see me pay all the way up for a tight end, but Travis Kelce against the LA Chargers, whose defensive backs are a little banged up. Defense in general is just a little banged up. But he could be in for a big game. And now it's our stacks and defenses. And as we mentioned, we're looking to give away a $20 DraftKings ticket. We'll be covering the cost of your $20 DraftKings ticket, that Billionaire Maker. Down below, we need two things. Number one, go ahead and like this video if you haven't already. You should have done it in the first 30 seconds. Thanks. You should have subscribed to the channel. Go ahead and do that. I'll give you time. Okay, now that that's up, what we need you to do is drop the name of the player that's going to have the most points on Sunday's slate, as well as how many points they will be scoring. We're going to round numbers here, okay? So if you say that it's going to be Tyreek Hill and you think he's going to get 39 points, say Tyreek Hill, 39 points. If he puts up 39.6, congratulations. One correct guess will be winning that $20 prize, and we'll be getting together with you, PayPal, Venmo. But again, who's going to be the top scorer on Sunday's slate and how many points? Drop it down there below in the comments. For our stacks, we're going to start with the LA Rams, right? Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, very cheap this week. They're going to be trailing. They're going to be in obvious passing situations, in my opinion. Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford have been an A-plus connection so far. And then why not take a shot at Van Jefferson, who is a sleeper? 1 touchdown, and he's paid for, right? Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Shouldn't surprise anyone. Very expensive. There's a lot of people talking about Kansas City over this one. I'm still leaning the Seattle Seahawks stack over that one, but could be worth a shot. Arizona Cardinals against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk. Maybe you want to go Rondale Moore. Maybe. I think I'm going to take the long-term success of Christian Kirk, and success is used loosely with that. So, maybe it's a fade, but I think whoever puts this in there, it's worth a shot at winning big. And then something that's dirt cheap, the Detroit Lions. I mean, dirt cheap. You can get yourself Jared Goff, Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift, depending if DeAndre Swift is healthy, right? If he's healthy, this is thrown out the window. Jamal Williams, TJ Hawkinson, and Quintez Cephas, your number one player at each position. It still leaves you with $6,200 per player without getting a defense. You put in a $3,000 defense there, and that leaves you with like $7,200 per player remaining. You can go get you some very talented people. I'm not saying to play this, okay? I'm really not. But Jared Goff, Jamal Williams, TJ Hawkinson, Quintez Cephas, if they're all healthy and they are all starting, worth a look. I doubt it. I'm just throwing that out there, man. Defense is Broncos, $4,300 against the New York Jets. Zach Wilson has already thrown, I think, 5 interceptions on the year. He had quite a few turnovers against the New England Patriots last week. I expect them to present the same kind of pressure off the edge, try and make him struggle. I don't know if it's going to be a tremendous success, but the Broncos, probably the obvious pick for many people. Tennessee Titans, $2,400 against Indianapolis, especially if Carson Wentz is not there. And then the Arizona Cardinals, they present a lot of pressure. They have a lot of blitzing. They do a lot of blitz packages. Trevor Lawrence it's a very young season, but he's worst in the league against blitz right now, breaking down in terms of passer rating. I think he's going to struggle mightily in this one. He's going to have to get the ball to someone. I get it. I talked about Marvin Jones. I talked about Laviska. The ball has to go somewhere, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's another 17 of 34, 3 interceptions, and a 2 touchdown type day for him in this one. Again, a lot of these anomalies have become streaks, and pretty soon these streaks will become trends. Things will start to get more clear as we move into the season. That was your NFL Week 3 Sleepers, Studs, and Stacks. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, follow me on Twitter. My personal handle is right below me, at Brad Emily. If you want to follow the rest of us, it's way over down there at the bottom left or bottom right of your screen, I should say. Allaqcess CLT. On Instagram, Allaqcess CLT. And Facebook, Allaqcess. If you want our starting 5 to see what my lineup is going to be looking like in 5 players that I'm really honed in on, head over to Patreon. That's down in the description below, patreon.com/allaccess. We'll be putting out our starting 5, a weather report, and Bradley's best bets. Saturday morning is when we'll be putting that out. So make sure you pay attention over there. Join the community. I really do appreciate all of you guys' support over the years. I know we're kind of rebuilding, as we've been saying it for the past few weeks, but we will eventually take down one of these big ones with all of you. Let me know what your thoughts are on week 3, because I really do want to bounce some ideas off one another. Let me know where I'm crazy. Maybe you think Najee Harris is just an atrocious play. Bradley, maybe you think that taking Marvin Jones as my favorite wide receiver this week is absolutely insane. Maybe. But you got to do something a little different every once in a while. But thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe for your chance to win that $20 ticket. See you.